This story is titled, My Parents Stole All My Hard-Earned Lifetime Savings from Safe to Buy Golden Daughter a Home. I had no choice but to call police. Hey everyone, I'm a 29-year-old architectural engineer in San Francisco, making good money and living comfortably. But right now, I need to vent about the most insane betrayal of my life. When your own mother steals from you, where else do you go? This isn't some petty family drama. This is full-on treachery that's making my head spin. Let me explain how this nightmare started. I grew up in what people call a blended family, which is just a fancy way of saying my parents' divorce turned everything into chaos. I was 8 years old when they dropped the bomb. I remember sitting there with my favorite dinosaur plushie while they calmly told me, "We still love you, but we don't love each other anymore." They were so calm about it. No screaming or drama, which somehow made it worse. It was like they were discussing the weather while my world fell apart. After the divorce, my dad moved to a small condo near the bay, while my mom kept our old house in the suburbs. I did the whole back and forth thing. 1 week with mom, 1 week with dad. My dad was solid as a rock. He was always there, always reliable, and made sure I had everything I needed. My mom, though? That was a different story entirely. She started dating this guy named Lucas and moved him in faster than a cheetah chasing prey. Soon after, my half-sister Olivia was born, and that's when I became a ghost in my own home. It's not like they were cruel or anything. It just became obvious that I wasn't the priority anymore. Olivia was their miracle baby, and I was just there. My birthdays were forgotten more often than not. School events might as well not exist. I still remember standing in the pouring rain after my science fair in 4th grade, waiting for over an hour before I finally called my mom. Her response? "Oh, was that today? Sorry, honey, Olivia has her ballet recital." By age 13, I was basically living at my dad's full-time. He saw the writing on the wall and asked if I wanted to make it official. I didn't even hesitate, and my mom didn't fight it. She actually seemed relieved, like she could finally focus on her real family. I stopped expecting anything from her after that. No calls, no texts, nothing. I was just quietly erased from her life, like deleting an old phone number you don't need anymore. Fast forward to now. I've worked my ass off as an architectural engineer, saved every single penny I could, and was finally about to buy my first house. I hadn't heard from my mom in literal years. She didn't care when I graduated college, couldn't be bothered when I landed my job, and never asked about my life plans. Then out of nowhere, she called me last month. "I've been thinking about you. We should have dinner," she said, followed by, "I miss you so much." She said it like we had talked last week instead of the radio silence I'd experienced for years. It threw me off completely. I agreed anyway, thinking that maybe she had changed. But deep down, I knew better. I knew she wanted something because that's just how she operates. The dinner was weird as hell. Mom and Lucas were way too interested in my job and kept asking specific questions about my money. How much I make, what I'm saving, where I'm investing. At one point, Mom got this fake proud look on her face and said, "You've always been so good with money. You must be doing great." Olivia, who's now in college, couldn't help but throw shade. "Still in that tiny apartment? I thought you'd have upgraded by now," she remarked with obvious disdain. Lucas tried to act casual but failed miserably. "So you've been saving for a house, right? That's a smart move," he said, giving Mom this sketchy side-eye that wasn't subtle at all. Olivia barely looked up from her phone throughout dinner. "Yeah, houses are expensive though," she commented. "I'm looking at apartments near campus. Even those are ridiculous. Must be nice to have money figured out." The whole conversation felt staged, like they had rehearsed it or something. They weren't just curious. They were fishing for information. Then Lucas dropped this gem. "Must be nice to have a steady paycheck. Some of us aren't so lucky." He said it with this dramatic sigh, like I was supposed to feel bad for him. Mom shot him a warning glance and switched to her sugar-sweet voice. "Honey, it's so impressive how responsible you are. I bet you've got quite the savings built up." I tried to dodge the question with a simple, "I'm doing okay." Olivia snorted, still glued to her phone. "Okay, please. You've probably got a fortune saved," she said. "What's your rent anyway? Bet it's nothing compared to your savings." She didn't even look up when saying it. The whole thing felt calculated, like they had planned this entire evening. It made me paranoid enough to check my accounts the next day. Everything looked normal, so I thought maybe I was overthinking it. A week later, I went on a business trip to London. That's when everything went to hell. I landed back from London and turned on my phone, only to be bombarded with banking alerts, one after another after another. My hands were shaking while I logged into my account, and I felt sick to my stomach when I saw what had happened. My savings account was completely empty. Everything I had worked for, everything I had saved, gone. Just fucking gone. A zero balance was staring back at me. The ground felt like it was disappearing beneath me. My head was spinning so hard that I had to sit down, and I could barely breathe. My chest felt like it was in a vice. I frantically scrolled through the transactions, desperate for some explanation. That's when I saw it. My mom's name. My own mother's name on the transfers. I just stared at the screen, unable to process what I was seeing. How the hell did she even do this? I never gave her my banking info. I never showed her my accounts. Yet somehow, she had drained everything. There were multiple transfers, thousands at a time, moving my money without my knowledge. Part of me wanted to drive straight to her house, shove my phone in her face, and demand answers. I wanted to make her explain how she could do this. But another part of me was screaming to skip the confrontation and go straight to the police. She didn't deserve a conversation, not after this level of betrayal. But what if there was some explanation? What if confronting her would get me answers? Or worse, what if I confronted her and she talked her way out of it, like she always does? What if I waited too long and lost my chance at legal action? I felt completely stuck, torn between wanting answers and knowing I probably shouldn't waste time. Either way, she wasn't keeping my money. She wasn't getting away with this. But right then, I couldn't even think straight. I needed to figure out my next move. Do I confront her first? Go straight to the cops? What if I made the wrong choice? What if she twisted everything around? My head was spinning with possibilities. I needed to make a plan. I needed to do something. I couldn't let her win this time. Thanks for all the support. Your advice helped clear my head. Let me tell you what happened next. The first thing I did was call my bank. I needed to understand how this had happened. The bank rep was super polite. I could tell they were walking on eggshells, like they were waiting for me to explode. I explained about the unauthorized transfers and asked them to walk me through everything. They confirmed the transfers were made online using my account credentials. This made no sense. I had never shared my login with anyone, not even my dad, and I trust him with my life. I asked about device records, and the rep put me on hold for what felt like forever. When they came back, they had some interesting information. The logins came from a previously authorized device. They couldn't identify it completely, but it was flagged as known in their system. That's when it hit me. Mom had visited my apartment before the dinner. She had used my bathroom while I was making coffee. She must have grabbed my phone then. I don't use fingerprint unlock, and my banking app stays logged in. She could have seen everything she needed and made notes of the information. It was the only explanation that made sense. After speaking with the bank, I called my dad. He's always been my go-to for advice, and I needed someone to tell me I wasn't crazy. I told him everything that had happened. He went quiet for a long time and finally said, "You need to go to the police." I wasn't ready for that yet. I was still hoping for some huge misunderstanding. Maybe she meant to borrow it. Maybe she was going to tell me. I decided to confront her first. I had to hear her side. I drove to her house with screenshots of the transfers saved on my phone, ready to demand answers. Lucas opened the door with his usual smug face. I almost turned around right there. I asked if Mom was home, and he said, "She's inside," stepping aside like he knew exactly why I was there. I found Mom in the living room, reading a magazine and acting like she didn't have a care in the world. She looked up at me with a fake smile and said, "Oh, hi, sweetie. What a nice surprise." I wasn't there for small talk. I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots, and asked, "What is this? How did you transfer money from my account?" She didn't even try to act shocked. She glanced at the screen casually and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." I was getting angry now. "Don't play dumb," I told her. "These transfers are in your name. The money's gone and sitting in your account. I want to know how you did it." That's when she dropped the act. Mom sighed like I was the one being difficult and said, "Look, Olivia needed help. You weren't willing to step up, so we took care of it ourselves." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You stole from me," I said. "That money was for my house." "Oh, calm down." She waved me off like I was being dramatic about nothing. "You're young, you have a good job. You can save it back up. Olivia's just starting out. She needs this more than you do." I stood there completely stunned while she kept rambling about how families should help each other and how selfish I was to keep all that money to myself. Lucas was lurking in the doorway and decided to add his unwanted opinion. You're overreacting. It's not like she spent it all. Olivia just needed a little head start, that's all. My entire savings were gone and they were acting like it was pocket change. I told them I wanted my money back immediately or I was going to the police. Mom actually smirked at me. You wouldn't do that, she said. I'm your mother. You don't want to cause a family scandal, do you? Oh, but I did. I turned to leave and Lucas grabbed my arm. You don't need to make this ugly, he said. Just let it go, okay? I pulled away from him in disgust. This is your last chance, I warned them. Return my money or you'll regret it. I didn't wait for their response. I walked straight out, got in my car, and drove directly to the police station. It was time to end this. I filed a fraud report immediately and handed over all the evidence. The bank was already working with the authorities, and Mom's account was getting flagged. Now, I was just waiting to see what would happen next. I wasn't letting this slide. Some might say, but it's your family. But family doesn't steal from family. If she thought this was okay, she could deal with the consequences. I will keep updating as this unfolds. Right now, I'm just trying to stay focused and not completely lose it. Update time. Things have escalated more than I expected. I thought I'd just be waiting for police updates, but that's not how this works. It's been absolute chaos. Let me walk you through what happened. After filing the police report, I handed over everything I had. Screenshots, bank statements, even texts from Mom after that weird dinner. The detective assigned to my case was amazing. She actually listened to me and didn't treat me like I was overreacting. She told me they'd freeze Mom's account while they investigated. I felt relieved knowing the money couldn't disappear more. But when they contacted Mom, she denied everything, not just the theft, but even denied talking to me about money. I don't know what she's talking about, she claimed. She must have made a mistake. I had actual receipts, though. She thought she could lie her way out, but it was too bad the bank had already flagged the transfers. There was no way to spin this. The money trail led straight to her account. When police confronted her with the evidence, she changed her story completely. Suddenly, it wasn't a mistake anymore. Now it was all a misunderstanding. She claimed she borrowed the money and says she was going to pay it back. Yeah, sure. She borrowed without asking, from her own kid. While this was happening, I got a call from Lucas. I don't know why I even answered. I guess I was curious about what bullshit excuse he'd come up with. He started all fake calm, trying to play peacemaker. Look, you're blowing this out of proportion, he said. Your mom's upset. She didn't mean for things to get this far. Why don't we just drop the charges? We'll figure something out as a family. Like what? I asked. You give my money back and we pretend this didn't happen? That's the idea, he replied, like it was the most reasonable thing ever. I couldn't hold back anymore. Lucas, you broke into my life and stole over $100,000. Do you have any idea what you've put me through? This isn't something I can just drop. You're both thieves and you're going to face consequences. His tone flipped instantly. He went from fake friendly to nasty. You think you're so high and mighty, living your fancy life while your family struggles. You've always been selfish. Maybe this is karma. I hung up on him. I don't have time for entitled thieves, even if they're family. A few days later, Officer Taylor updated me. They'd officially frozen Mom's account, but here's the twist. She'd already moved some money to a third account under Olivia's name. They were trying to launder my money through my half-sister. They probably hoped it wouldn't be traced. Let me be clear about Olivia. I don't know how involved she was. She's in college. She's been a brat before, but I never thought she'd go this low. When police questioned her, she played dumb at first and denied knowing anything. But I confronted her myself and pressed harder. That's when she slipped up. Mom and Lucas told me they were helping me secure an apartment, she admitted. They said you'd be okay with it. My jaw literally dropped. An apartment with my savings? She had the nerve to look annoyed and said, it's not like they spent all of it. They said it was a loan. You'd probably never even notice. More details came out during the investigation, and it's getting harder to believe her didn't know act. Money was funneled directly to her account. It wasn't just coincidence, it was deliberate. The way she brushed it off made it even worse. I thought Mom was just helping with expenses, she told the police. Come on, she's not stupid. She's in college. She knows how money works. She actually defended the whole scheme to me, saying, Mom just did what she thought was best for the family. You could have helped willingly, but you didn't. So what was she supposed to do? Like stealing from me was my fault. The fallout got wild. Mom started calling every relative, spinning her sob story about how I'm ruining her life and dragging the family through mud. She told everyone I was exaggerating, that it was all a misunderstanding, and that I was being heartless by going to the police. Guess what? Most of the family didn't buy it. Dad's always been my rock, and he made sure everyone knew the truth. He sent a mass email to the entire extended family that laid out all the facts, the bank transfers, the police report, and even quoted Mom admitting she took the money. The responses were mixed. Some rallied around me and said what Mom did was unforgivable. Others played the family should stick together card, like I'm wrong for not sweeping this under the rug. Meanwhile, I started getting anonymous messages all over social media. You're a terrible daughter. How could you do this to your own mother? I blocked every account. I'm pretty sure Lucas is behind them. It seems like his style. He thinks online harassment wins arguments. Through all this, I'm staying focused on the bigger picture. The investigation is moving forward. The detective says I have a strong case, and the evidence is solid. Mom is likely facing criminal charges, especially since she lied during questioning. As for the money, the bank has started the recovery process. They've frozen what was left in Mom's account and are working on getting the portion from Olivia's account. It will take time, but at least I'll get it back eventually. Meanwhile, I'm taking steps to protect myself. I've changed all passwords and set up two-factor authentication on every single account. I've installed a security camera in my apartment. Maybe it's paranoid, but after what happened, I'm not taking any chances. I'm looking into getting a restraining order against Mom and Lucas. The idea of them showing up whenever they want makes my skin crawl. They've proven they don't respect boundaries, and I'm making damn sure they can't cross anymore. Things are messy and stressful as hell. It's not over yet, but I'm holding my ground. They thought they could walk all over me. They underestimated how far I'll go to protect what's mine. Then courthouse day arrived. This is where it gets wild. Mom and Lucas thought they'd walk. Boy, were they wrong. I'm writing this fresh from the courthouse because yes, we went to court. And no, it didn't go how Mom planned. After my last update, things escalated big time. Mom and Lucas were formally charged with fraud and theft. When she got the notice, Mom completely lost it. She called me over 20 times in one day. I didn't answer a single call, but I saved all the voicemails. They were a mix of fake tears and threats. I can't believe you're doing this to your own mother, she cried in one message. You're tearing this family apart. Is this how you want people to remember you? Then she switched to threats. You think you're so smart. You don't know how the world works, kid. You'll regret this. I forwarded every voicemail to my lawyer. If she wanted to guilt trip me, she picked the wrong target. I was done being the family doormat. The court date was set pretty quickly since the evidence was airtight. The bank provided all the documentation showing the unauthorized transfers, and the police had statements from everyone involved. Mom was still trying to play innocent, claiming it was all just a misunderstanding. But her lies were catching up to her fast. Walking into the courtroom, I wasn't sure what to expect. I was nervous but mostly angry. Angry about being there. Angry that my own mom had put me in this position. Angry that she was still spinning me as the bad guy in all of this. She showed up with her full entourage, Lucas and Olivia in tow. Olivia wouldn't even look at me, while Lucas had that stupid smug face like they were about to walk free. Mom was playing the victim perfectly, wearing a somber outfit like she was at a funeral. She kept dabbing her eyes with a tissue for effect. When it was her turn to speak, she laid it on thick. I'm just a mother trying to help her child, she said, making her voice all shaky for dramatic effect. My daughter Olivia was in a difficult situation. I didn't think my other daughter would mind helping. It was never meant to be theft. It was a loan I planned to repay. My lawyer didn't hold back. Your Honor, she began, the defendant's justification was using this money for a down payment on a luxury apartment for her younger daughter Olivia. The plaintiff's entire savings were funneled into this purchase without consent. The tension in the room became heavy. Lucas was squirming in his seat, and Olivia was turning bright red, but Mom kept up her innocent act. I thought it would be fine, she insisted. Family helps family. I almost laughed out loud. You get help from family without asking? You drained someone's entire savings without a word? Then my lawyer presented the evidence, screenshots of the transfers highlighting that they were labeled as personal transfers. She played the voicemails Mom had left me. The courtroom went dead silent as her voice filled the room. You think you're so high and mighty just because you've got some money now. You'd be nothing without this family. Don't you dare forget where you came from, you ungrateful little brat. Acting like you're better than us. Please, you're just a stuck-up wannabe riding on the coattails of people who matter." The judge looked completely done with her act. Then Lucas tried speaking up. "Your Honor, this is just a family disagreement blown out of proportion. My wife—" The judge cut him off hard. "You are not the defendant. Unless you're testifying under oath, you will remain silent." Lucas turned bright red and slumped in his seat. It was the best moment of the whole day. When it was my turn to speak, I kept it simple and direct. I told the court about my years of saving, how I'd worked hard for every penny and built my future step by step. I described how betrayed I felt discovering the theft. This wasn't about helping my sister, I explained. This was about control. She didn't like that I was independent and didn't need her anymore, so she decided to take what wasn't hers. Family doesn't do this to each other. The judge was nodding while I spoke. When I finished, he looked straight at Mom. "Your actions were not only illegal, but deeply unethical. You violated your daughter's trust in a way that is inexcusable. This court finds you guilty of theft and fraud." He sentenced her to a suspended sentence. No jail time if she follows conditions. But the best part came next. She was ordered to return every penny within 30 days. If she doesn't, the suspended sentence becomes real jail time. Mom looked like she'd been slapped. Lucas was muttering under his breath, and Olivia was just staring at me. I thought she might actually apologize, but nope. She just glared like I'd ruined her life. After the hearing, Lucas stormed up to me in the hallway. "This isn't over," he threatened. "You've humiliated us. You'll regret it." I looked him straight in the eye and said, "The only thing I regret is trusting either of you. Stay out of my life." Then I walked away, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Things are getting interesting now. Most of my extended family is on my side, especially after I sent a group text explaining everything. When you stand for yourself and claim your power, nobody can judge you. Even if they tried, I'd shut them down. I'm done with this nonsense. My dad came to court with me. Afterward, he gave me a big hug and said, "You did the right thing, kid. I'm proud of you." That meant more to me than words can say. Now I'm just waiting for the money to be returned. The bank has started the process, and Mom has repaid about half so far. The rest is due by the deadline set by the court. If she doesn't pay up, it's not my problem anymore. It's the court's problem. I've also filed for a restraining order against both Mom and Lucas. I don't want them near me, my apartment, or my accounts ever again. Final update time. It's been a wild ride and a lot has happened since the court ruling. While things are calming down, the fallout has been chaotic. After the judge ordered repayment, I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. You'd think getting caught would make them back off, right? Nope. Mom and Lucas are relentless. They had the audacity to appeal the ruling, claiming the court was too harsh and didn't take family dynamics into account. The court basically told them, "You stole the money. You admitted it. Now pay it back and deal with it." The appeal was denied immediately. I thought that would end it, but of course they couldn't let it go. A few days after the appeal failed, I started getting weird texts from Olivia. "Hope you're happy," she wrote. "Mom's been crying non-stop. It's all your fault. Do you even care what you've done to this family?" Her best message yet was, "You might have your money, but you've lost your family forever." Nothing I could say would make them understand how messed up this situation is, so I'm done trying. I've spent enough of my life bending over backward for people who don't care about me. On the bright side, the bank officially transferred the last of my money back to my account last week. Seeing my savings where they belong feels like finally breathing after holding my breath underwater. I'm still finalizing the restraining order, but having my finances secure feels like a huge step forward. Remember those relatives who were trying to guilt me? Some really leaned into the drama. My Aunt Catherine decided to play peacemaker and called me about a family meeting. "It's time for everyone to come together and heal," she insisted. "Your mom's been through a lot. This situation's been hard on all of us." I almost laughed when Catherine called. "You mean hard on her because she got caught stealing?" I asked. "What exactly do you want me to do here, Catherine? Pretend it didn't happen?" Catherine got all righteous. "It's not about pretending," she said. "It's about forgiveness. Family is family." "Maybe she should have acted like family before robbing me blind," I snapped and hung up. She went around telling everyone I'm being cold and vindictive. Surprise, though, most of the family doesn't agree with her. My dad's side has been especially supportive throughout this whole ordeal. The biggest shock came when Olivia showed up at my apartment unannounced. I wasn't sure whether to slam the door in her face or hear her out. I decided to let her in. "What do you want, Olivia?" I asked, crossing my arms. She was already fuming the moment she stepped inside. "I don't see why you couldn't just let it go," she started as soon as the door opened. "Mom and Lucas were just trying to help me, make sure I had a place to live. You didn't need all that money right away. You're already doing fine." I couldn't believe her nerve. "Doing fine? They stole from me to get you an apartment. Now you're mad because I didn't let them? You're so selfish," she actually hissed at me. "It's just money," she continued. "They were doing it for me." "Why don't you get your ass to work and get yourself an apartment?" I fired back. "That's my last advice to you. I don't want to see your face at my door again." I slammed the door in her face. I'm done arguing with people who can't grasp basic morality. As for Mom and Lucas, they're still playing the victim card, telling anyone who'll listen that I'm a greedy, selfish child who's punishing them for no reason. I've blocked them on everything, so I only hear about their drama through other people. Honestly, I couldn't care less. I'm focusing on moving forward now. I'm under contract for a house, a cozy 3-bedroom not far from Dad's place. I'm working with a realtor and decorator to make it feel like home. For the first time in months, I'm actually feeling excited about something. I'm planning a housewarming party and only inviting people who stood by me: Dad, my stepmom, true friends, and the relatives who had my back. These are the people who actually deserve to be called family. I know this isn't the ending Mom wanted, but it's one she created. She chose money over our relationship, and now she has to live with the consequences. Your support helped me find the strength to stand up for myself, and I'll always be grateful for that. If anything else happens, I'll update you. But for now, I'm ready to put this chapter behind me and start fresh in my new home with people who actually care.